Welcome back, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for today's explainer. We're going to do something a little bit different today, and honestly, it's incredibly fascinating. We're taking a single digital artifact, just one specific YouTube webpage, and we're completely decoding it. We're going to peel back the layers of this massive, thriving online ecosystem that sits right out in the open but operates by these highly specific, unwritten rules. We are diving into the wild world of the internet true horror story. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with a snapshot of a viral hit, unpack the strict rules of this community, categorize the major tropes of true horror, and finally map out the broader ecosystem. And just to set expectations right out of the gate, we are analyzing the massive data and the community rules behind these stories today, not narrating the fiction itself. All right, so part one. Let's take a snapshot of a viral horror hit. I want you to treat this specific webpage, dated April 22nd, 2026, almost like a digital archaeological dig site. Every single number, every word choice here, it's a clue to how this whole ecosystem operates. Just think about this staggering number. 695,668. That is how many views our subject achieved in just 7 days. Almost 700,000 people literally stopped whatever they were doing to listen to this specific upload. It immediately establishes the sheer scale and the intense, ravenous demand in this niche. I mean, this isn't some fringe hobby, right? This is mainstream entertainment. So what exactly are they watching? Well, the title is 4 Unsettling True Night Shift Horror Stories, uploaded by a creator named Mr. Nightmare. And notice how the word true is entirely capitalized. In this ecosystem, that capitalization acts as a huge algorithmic hook. It's signaling to the viewer, hey, these aren't polished Hollywood scripts. These are presented as real, grounded human experiences, and that makes the fear factor infinitely higher. And if you need proof that this isn't just a casual viewing game, consider these engagement metrics. Over 7 million subscribers, 23,000 likes, and 1,200 comments in just a week? These numbers prove that we're looking at a highly active, dedicated community that isn't just watching passively. They are actively participating, discussing, and validating this content. Which brings us to part 2, the strict rules of fear. Now, what's really interesting here is how a community gets this fiercely dedicated in the first place. To figure that out, we have to open up the description box and look at the boundaries the creator sets. Look at this emphatic line hidden right there in the submission guidelines. In all caps, it says, "Please do not send anything written or polished by AI." Now, in an era where everyone seems to be using artificial intelligence to churn out content faster, this channel violently pushes back against it. Why do you think that is? Well, it's all about maintaining a very delicate balance. The creator explicitly says they will reject stories with messy, poorly structured grammar because, the text needs to be neat enough to actually be read aloud smoothly. But they entirely ban AI polishing. They need the story to be understandable, for sure, but it absolutely must retain its authentically human, slightly flawed voice. If it sounds artificially perfect, the whole illusion of that raw, campfire authenticity is totally shattered. The true part of the horror just vanishes. And check out this simple instruction also found in the description. Please also state how you would like your name to be credited in a video. This just further reinforces that authenticity. It promises real recognition for real human experiences, and that naturally encourages viewers to become contributors, keeping this massive content engine running purely on grassroots community submissions. Okay, let's move on to part 3 and see how this builds into the tropes of true horror. Let's zoom out a bit from the description and look at the algorithmic neighbors, those recommended videos packed into the sidebar. Act as a digital anthropologist with me for a second. The YouTube sidebar might just look like a messy list of random spooky stuff, but if we really analyze these titles, they perfectly categorize into distinct psychological fears. We've got isolated locations like lonely cabin stories, vulnerable jobs like bus driver tales, and travel gone wrong like RV camping in a storm. It is a highly structured menu of human anxiety. The absolute key here is how relatable these fears are. Take the vulnerable jobs horror subgenre, for instance. The sidebar is completely flooded with this stuff. Alongside the night shift and bus driver tales, you'll see titles like "I'm a Night Shift Trucker" or "9 True Coworker Horror Stories." This ecosystem takes everyday mundane employment, especially jobs that require isolation or working in the dark, and it transforms that highly relatable work anxiety into bingeable entertainment. We also see another massive trope dominating the metadata, and that's the fear of the deep woods and the untamed wilderness. Just looking at the recommendations, you see unsolved Appalachian mysteries, creatures in the mountains, rural horror stories. It plays perfectly on this very primal American fear of what lies just beyond the tree line, out there in the dark, far away from cell service and civilization. But honestly, here's perhaps the most fascinating piece of data we uncovered in the sidebar. Check out this title: Terrifying but True Paranormal Stories to Fall Asleep To. It's over 3 hours long and it's sitting at 120,000 views. Think about the incredible paradox of that for a second. A video explicitly designed to induce pure terror is being actively utilized by over 100,000 people as a literal sleep aid. The familiar, steady rhythm of the narrator's voice telling scary stories has somehow evolved into a modern digital lullaby. Kind of wild, right? All right, let's move into part 4, the broader ecosystem. Now that we've got a handle on the rules and the tropes, let's visualize the actual multi-million view economy these stories generate across the platform. This brilliantly illustrates the sheer economic weight of the genre. We pulled viewership data from the top recommended videos surrounding our primary artifact, and we are looking at massive digital heavy hitters competing in the exact same sidebar space. You have creators like Mr. Ballin pulling in over 800,000 views in just 5 days, and Lazy Masquerade with nearly 650,000. These are not isolated incidents. It's a massive, interconnected network of creators feeding the exact same hungry audience. And to really hammer home the mainstream popularity of this niche, just consider this peak viewership number: 5.9 million views on Mr. Nightmare's 10 Scariest True Stories of 2024. I mean, wow, that is literally the population of a small country tuning in to sit around a digital campfire together. But you know what makes this ecosystem so incredibly resilient? It's how the algorithm manages it. The platform constantly feeds viewers a mix of absolute titans, like those multi-million view videos we just saw, right alongside complete newcomers. On that very same page, we spotted a video by a channel called Lost Spirit with just 467 views. The algorithm is perpetually testing out new voices, injecting fresh blood into the recommendation feed, so the ecosystem never ever grows stale. Which really leaves us with this final, profound question to consider today. We live in an age of hyper-realistic video games, massive CGI movie budgets, and artificial intelligence that can literally generate entire worlds in seconds. Yet why do millions upon millions of people still eagerly flock to a single voice reading simple, human-flawed campfire stories on the internet? Perhaps no matter how advanced our technology gets, our primal need to huddle together in the dark and listen to a real person say, "This is a true story," will never truly fade away. Think about that the next time you find yourself scrolling late at night. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.